Hi everybody, welcome to our bite-sized PD on student password management. Today we're going to talk a little bit about how you can better manage passwords in your classroom, what the rules and responsibilities are for you, and what the roles and responsibilities of our students are as well. So to get started, we're just going to talk a little bit about YouTube Live and how this is going to work for you. So we really encourage that if you have any questions at all, that you participate in our chat. So you can do that by creating a YouTube channel under your DDSB account. So you can sign into YouTube with your DDSB account and then create a channel. Don't worry, creating a channel doesn't mean you need to start creating YouTube videos. It just means that you'll have access to the chat functions. So I'm just going to show you how to do that. All right. So from Teacher Mobile Campus, okay, so this is teacher.ddsb.ca. This is a great page to use as a home page for yourself. You're going to click on Tech Help Portal to get those instructions. There we go. And from here, if you scroll down to Technical FAQ, it'll be under the DDSB Video Conferencing and Broadcasting. So I'm just going to click on that. And from here, this is where you can learn about all our video conferencing options. One of them being YouTube Live, which is what you're participating in right now. And the second box here talks about YouTube Live and how you can create a channel for yourself. So if you click there for your instructions, it'll take you through the whole process. So again, we really encourage you to go through those instructions, create that account for yourself so that you can participate in our chat. And from this as well, I'm just going to pull this screen over just so you can take a look if I were participating in here. If you want to chat, over on the right-hand side of your screen, once you've signed in and you click down here, this is where you can start asking questions. We look forward to seeing you doing that as well. All right. So from here, I really want to highlight, first of all, the whole reason we use passwords is for safety and security with our students. And so I want to highlight the DDSB Safe and Acceptable Use Policy before we get started, just so you're aware of what the roles and responsibilities of the teacher are around managing passwords. So once again, I'm going to go back and start at Teacher Mobile Campus page. And going down to the bottom, you can see our Innovative Education logo. If you click on that, it's actually clickable. That's going to take you to our portal page. And there's some great resources on this page for you. But specifically, password management would fall under digital citizenship. So if I click on that, I got some great digital citizenship activities to do with your students here, as well as some more information for you. And you'll find the DDSB policies right down here. Okay. And so all these policies are here. This one is whited out for some reason. There it is, probably because I've clicked on it a couple of times. So you've got the DDSB Acceptable and Safe Use Policy and the procedure that's here. And once you click on that, that's going to load the policy. And just the one part of the policy that I want to highlight for you is that all users right here are responsible for maintaining their password and user ID confidentiality. So that appears right here for all users. Okay. And that's in section 4.1. Okay. And all board staff must follow this procedure. Okay, managing passwords and going through that as well. So in addition to these are the roles of the teacher. So we have a duty as the teacher to make sure that our students have unique and confidential passwords. Now, I know with our primary students that can be challenging at times, but it is really, really, really important that we abide by this policy to protect ourselves and our students' identities as well. So one way of doing that is by using the teacher tools to go through and reset student passwords, especially if a student has come to you and has said, you know, I think my password's been compromised, or I know an older student is using my account. What I would do right off the bat at the beginning of the year, and I know we're about a month in right now to our school year, but I would make sure that all of the passwords are set to something unique. And I would walk around to all my students in a younger classroom and I would talk to them about what they want their password to be. It does not need to be anything complex. It just can't all be the same. So for example, I know a lot of teachers use ABC, and we just can't be doing that because that would compromise the security of those accounts, and everybody can get into those accounts at that point in time. So walking around with a clipboard to go change those passwords afterwards. And again, it could be something as easy as their favorite pet or animal or subject or anything like that at all, but something that is unique to them, that would not be necessarily super easily guessed within, of course, within the confines of what a primary student can do. But they can most certainly handle something more complex than ABC. So that's the first thing that I would go through and do is go and do that. Now on my computer, I don't have teacher tools installed, so unfortunately I can't show that to you. But you'll have a little icon on your desktop called Teacher Tools, and at any point in time, you can go through and reset the passwords of your students if needed. So that's what I would do in younger classrooms. In older classrooms, the students can manage those passwords by themselves. One thing that I suggest doing with the younger classrooms is creating these cards. So this is just a blank sample ID. It's not identified to any student whatsoever, with a spot to put your sample password. So you can print this template and use this template here and fill this out. I'm going to put in the chat right now a bit.ly link to this, just so you have it easily accessible for yourself. So I'm going to go ahead and put that in our chat. And you can, at any point in time, grab that from the chat window and use that template to create student cards. Just before we move on, I'm noticing that there's a question in our forum here. So are there length requirements for student passwords? And yes, there are. You need at least a 3-character password for our students if you are using the teacher tools or in order to reset their password. So if you're setting their password, absolutely they can do that. We're going to talk a little bit more though about the older students and how that's going to be a little bit different for them. So for the older students would go to Student Mobile Campus. So I'm going to go here. This is their homepage when they load. So a student, we're going to assume the older students know their passwords already. And if you have a new student to your school, again, it's really important to take note that if they were at a previous DDSB school, they are going to still be using their password from before. If they're brand new to our school board, the password is formatted as their birthday numerically. So that would be their year, month, and day, all numeric, will be their default password to get in. Once they know their password, let's say it's been compromised or they're afraid that they are going to forget it down the road. And this could be even for your young students as well. So I know, password management is a big deal, and we want to make sure that we're not struggling and spending all our time with the password management. If a student comes up to the password reset button, they'll be able to get in here and do a couple of things. So first, if they already know their password, but they just believe it's been compromised, or they just want a change and want a new password, they can click on Reset Password. If they do that, they must know their existing password. Obviously, I'm assuming they got into the computer somehow, so they probably knew their password already. They click on that, just going to ask for their old password and require a new one. Now, Microsoft manages this page, and there's a certain amount of complexity within the password that needs to be set in here. And it doesn't actually give you the specific complexity requirements as you go through, but it will just suggest to them, sorry, don't use that phrase in your passwords, try a different password. Or this password's too simple, you need to try a different password. So it doesn't really give you specific criteria, but it does suggest to the student, you should really pick something else. So in terms of our younger students, they can recover their existing password. In a moment, I'm going to show you how to do that. But this would not necessarily work for the younger students in grade 2, maybe, let's say, if all they can handle would be something like cat as their password. So it's important that you are aware of that as they work through that process. But again, really easy for all of our other students. Just click on reset password and they'll be able to do that. The other thing is password recovery registration. So this is something that we want to do proactively with our students. So when you walk your class through this, I really suggest that you do this together as a class. You go into the recovery registration and you can set up security questions for them where they can answer those questions if they forget their password, and then they can go and reset their password that way. So really, really, really important that that you know that exists. So I'm not going to take you through the process because I'm not going to recover my own password right now. But once they register, they click here to register for the tool, and then afterwards they'll come back here if they forget their password. And this is from any device, any network-enabled device, internet-enabled device. Be able to click on this recover password button and recover their password. All the instructions are laid out in this user guide at the bottom that I've clicked on. So it does take you through all the screenshots step by step on how to do that. So they'll have to log in first in order to reset their password. Okay. This is where they select their security questions. Now the security questions, you can't change. There's only 3 of them that they can do. Just be aware. And that's going to be what's your favorite animal, what's your favorite color, and what's your favorite subject. We need to make sure that that is those are questions that are accessible to our entire student base. So that applies to all students from kindergarten all the way up to grade 12. And it will take you through all of those instructions. So if you need any help, please feel free to click on that, and that will give you those instructions to walk through with students. And once again, that is linked directly back to Student Mobile Campus, and this is where you can get to that password link and make sure that they know what their passwords are and how you manage that. Okay. Just in closing, again, I keep targeting our teachers that are in primary because this is one of the biggest hurdles that we need to get through in order to get the devices in the hands of the kids so they can be used. Last suggestion we have for you is the kids can do this. We've been to lots of different classrooms and watched success with this. And at the beginning of the year, what I would set up is have a station or take the Chromebooks if you have Chromebooks, or take the laptops or whatever resources you have available at your school right now that are in your classroom, and have students practice logging in. Have them doing an activity. And part of the activity will be go sign into the laptop or the Chromebook and then go sign out, and then pass it to the next partner and sign in and sign out. And you'll be shocked after about a week of doing that just as a supplemental activity, how quickly the students will learn to sign into the devices. All right, so hopefully you found some of this information useful for you to use in your classroom. And again, if you have any questions about anything, feel free to email us at innovative.education@ddsb.ca. Enjoy the rest of your night, and we will see you again soon.